Hey, how you doing? 100 videos in 100 days. Hey, I'm Danland Pro. If you're not already at youtube.com, make sure you go over there at Webmaster Dan, Danland Pro. Hit that subscribe and that like button. Hey, I'm not gonna keep you long today because I'm a little under the weather. I'm pretty upset about it because I like to get my exercise on. And today I couldn't get my exercise on because I had the snivels, etc., and you know with all this out here, that's kind of scary. But anyway, I want to chime in on one quick thing. I got one question for this big slap, as they say. Now, I gave my opinion on it the first day, and I left it long after that, because I'm really tough on this thing about being on this gossip thing for so long until the next big story and the next big story, being preoccupied. If you really got a question for Will or Jada or Chris, that question should be, what was that game show? How to Be a Millionaire? You should be asking them that. You should be more concerned with that than anything, especially those of us that suffer from financial illiteracy and in situations where our finances is not in order, so we can't do the things that we need to do to shore up or have a strong foundation as far as some of the things that we experience and get emotional about. See, it's easy to look at another person and judge them and say what you coulda, shoulda, woulda, and might have done until you're in that situation. I used to hear that in the military. You know, people say what they would do and could do if they was in a situation until they're in that situation. And it's not until that moment when you're gonna see who's brave and who's a coward. It's not until that moment. But it's not until that moment when you're dealing with a situation in a foreign land, you want to survive that situation, when you're gonna find out what you would do. So it's the same thing with anything else. It depends on where your emotions are. That's why they say fight or flight. Some people make bad decisions in that situation because a lot of other things are going on. The other thing that I noticed that we don't mention is the physiology involved. We're not dealing with the psychology involved. We're not dealing with all of the real details that's involved when you go up and may slap a person in an emotional situation. We're not dealing with that. And the last thing I'm gonna say about it is that we're not dealing with God. We're not dealing with our godly instincts or our biblical scriptures and the things that tell us what we should do. See this wedding ring right here? This wedding ring is made in a circle. That's a closed loop, and it reflects marriage or a relationship. Even before you have marriage, you have an engagement ring. You are closing that relationship off from external forces. And the reason you closing that off is not to be isolated. You closing it off to keep external forces from coming in, creating havoc and controversy that's not necessary or will not allow a marriage or a good relationship to sustain. No one's an exception to that rule. That's a principle. See, a closed loop is a principle, just like an open loop is. Open means you open to anything. So once you open it up and you open it to the world, then everybody got their nose in your business. But really, the bottom line is that before I want to get off into Jada and Chris and Will's emotionalism and the things that they do and their status and their life, then I have to look in the mirror and I have to ask myself, if I was Will, what would I do? If I was Chris, what would I do? Jada, what would I do? And when you answer that question, you're gonna find out there's many moments in your life where it may not have been a slap at the end of your hand, but it was something else where you made a bad mistake or a misjudgment. There was another time where you opened your mouth and you said something that wasn't right or respectful. Everything that we experienced and witnessed, that we chiming in on and giving our views and opinions at some time or another, we experienced or demonstrated that type of behavior. So if you look in the mirror and you really want the conclusion to draw on that story, look in the mirror at yourself. And now, what do you think of yourself? And then you should grant everybody else that same right. Hey, my name's Danland Pro. Like I said, 100 videos in 100 days. I just want to chime in on that. I'm feeling under the weather today, but I don't want to hear no more about the big slap because it's done, it's over with. And just like when you make mistakes, hey, you want a little closure, and then you can do your prayer and you can do your healing and try to move on with your life. Hey, till next time, peace.